Welcome to Two Psychics. This is Michael Edley, evidential medium and mystic, discussing all things spiritual.
Hello, I'm Mary Amy of Two Psychics, an intuitive wisdom coach, tapping into your mystical life and sharing messages I receive about you.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Psychics Podcast. This is one of your hosts, Michael Edley, with my fabulous co-host, Mary Amy. What is going on, Mary Amy?
Hi, how are you? Happy December. Here we are. It's episode 76. It's all about psychic abilities. And we have a guest tonight, Kelly Wagner, and she is the owner and editor of The Edge magazine, and she is herself a psychic medium. So here we are, and we haven't had a show in a few weeks. We took a little break, which is kind of nice. It was really nice not last week not to have to worry about a guest and everything that's going on, and just, you know, kind of doing other things. What have you been up to, Michael? What's going on? What's new?
I've been keeping busy. Lots of readings. I've been doing private readings, group readings. I have some musical events. So it's, I'm keeping steady through the holiday season. It'll be winding down in about another maybe 10, 12 days. I'll be winding down all my private readings for the year. I think I have one or two larger group readings, and then I have a couple musical events, but that's about it. It'll be good taking a little holiday break and kind of recharging, refocusing, and getting ready to jump into the new year with a lot of energy and zest, and that I would say that positive manifesting energy, right? We're going from, it's interesting, something I had posted on my Eye of the Spirits Facebook page was, we're going from this 2025 9-year, really a year of, a lot unfolding, trials, tribulations, karmic cycles coming to an end, or new karmic cycles kind of unfolding and opening, seeing the realization of energetic connections, whether that's family, friends, environments, workplace, situations, scenarios. I think we're seeing the truth coming to the surface. And anyone that I know that's navigated 2025 has said, wow, I'm ready for 26, and hopefully 26 isn't as intense as 25. But what I can tell you is, with that intensity, we can learn and grow a lot about ourselves, a lot about our relationships, a lot about the environments and situations we're in. So we're going from this 9 energy into a 1 energy of, renewal, rebirth, reawakening. So it's a very interesting dynamic from 2025 to 2026. And I'm looking forward to putting 25 behind me, moving on to 26. It's just been a very, very intense year. I mean, anyone that's kind of followed me knows, there's been major significant loss in my life this year. Many people close to me, many pets, that I've had for a long period of time. There's been some trials and tribulations. And then on top of that, there's been a lot of good growth and a lot of new beginnings and a lot of, professional career stuff that has unfolded, in an amazing way. But having that dynamic of both, it's been a lot to navigate.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because I forget that we're about to head into the new year, and I've had more than a few new clients that have come to me for readings and healings, and some from the past. And I think everyone's starting to focus on 2026. And we're not the only ones who've had a difficult time. There's been a lot of chaos in the world, but the energy is changing, and the energy is lifting. A lot of darkness is lifting off the planet. And I sense people are ready to have more of a spiritual take on their lives, and not everything is about stuff. Cross my fingers.
Well, we're definitely seeing that awakening. Yeah, we're definitely seeing that. For this last decade or so, everyone's talked about this awakening, this grand awakening, this major transition. Nasara, Jasara, we hear all this different terminology, and I think we're absolutely seeing old power systems, old structures unraveling, and we're seeing the unfolding of a new energetic cycle. And while we're navigating that, it can be very, very chaotic. And I think the biggest thing we can do is, you know, don't get consumed by everything that's going on around you. And sometimes it's easier said than done, but we always speak about make sure you have some type of mindfulness practice in your daily routine. And that will help you navigate the uncertainty, the chaotic energy. And it's not just our stuff, you know, it's the stuff of people around us, you know, whether that's family, friends, you know, coworkers, whoever that may be. We're energetic beings and we absorb that energy. And if we're not aware of that, it can really throw us off.
I think too, when we tune into our intuition, and we're going to talk about psychic phenomena
Yes.
and psychic abilities in a bit because Kelly will be joining us. When we tune into ourselves and we start to focus on our inner life, we can find answers of a direction we should go into that will help us. Oh, we're getting some comments already. And when we start to do that, we can ask ourselves, what do I need right now? Do I need to work on my boundaries? Do I need to spend more time in a quiet space alone? Should I work on my passion, something creative? Maybe I need to change a direction. Is this an unhealthy relationship for me? I'm realizing that when you rise above yourself to a higher, I guess, way of being where you're more positive,
Yeah.
then you can really see, and you use the word navigate those around us who are not going to help us. Like they're just going to keep pounding on you with negative comments or negativity. And that's not going to lift you up if you're not in a good place. If you're overwhelmed or you're going through something, you kind of want to separate yourself from anyone that isn't going to build you up or be supportive.
Well, and what you'll find too is when you're raising your vibration, when you're trying to better yourself and you're trying to, you know, lift yourself up. And, you know, we term that raising your vibration, raising your frequency. What you'll find is, you know, some people are not ready for that. And some people will be clinging on to the old, you know, the old story, the old cycle. And, you know, it could be a very interesting dynamic and shift when you're breaking away from that. You know, you're going to see certain things in a new light that you haven't seen before, you know, and you may see certain people show true colors. You may see certain dynamics that you didn't think were in that environment, were in that friendship, were in that family structure start to arise and come to the surface. You know, that's what this energy cycle is about. It's truthfully about the unknowing being revealed and coming to the surface. All the dynamics are surfacing. And if we could take a step back and not get caught up in that, or even if we do get caught up in it, practice our mindfulness techniques, you know, meditation, you know, exercise, getting out in nature, a number of different things that we always speak about to help shift your energy so you can truly see what's going on and you can navigate it in the best way. But yeah, absolutely. Some people are not ready to raise their frequency, raise their vibration, and go into a growth cycle. And what we have to understand too is, like you talk about, you know, like sometimes people may project their stuff onto you, you know, and you know that has nothing to do with us. It's everything to do with them. But if we're not mindful and aware of that, we can think that's our own stuff, or we can play ourselves down to try to, you know, not make somebody else feel bad because we're trying to grow and learn and excel in our life. And again, that has nothing to do with us, and that has to do with the person that's projecting, you know, their insecurities or their fears onto you, you know. But if you can be mindful and aware of the situation, you can navigate it in the best way possible. And like you said, that may be releasing certain cycles, it may be releasing certain people or certain environments or certain things from your life, you know. And anyone that's going through any type of like codependent energetic cycle, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a friendship, whether that's, you know, a negative environment that you haven't been able to pull yourself away from, this energetic cycle that we're entering into will absolutely bring to the surface, you know, that energy. And again, like you had talked about, tuning into your psychic abilities, tuning into that intuitive ability will show you that if you're not seeing it on the surface, you know. And for your highest and best, you have to tap into that intuitive ability. Like, if people out there that aren't, or they think we're talking crazy talk, they don't realize what a disservice they're doing to themselves and those around them by not allowing that energy to flow through you and to bring realization and knowledge into your life.
It's really fun, actually, to kind of tap into this part of the cosmos, the universe, your psychic abilities, because it's like it's an adventure. You don't know what's going to happen, and you're going down a rabbit hole. You're finding things out about yourself, and I'm sure most everyone has some kind of dream at some point, some kind of vision, some kind of inner life that has told them, or some kind of spiritual message. I want to get onto the topic, and I want to mention that Lala Ann said, "Limit the outside world and live in your own," which is nice.
Yeah, we definitely have to honor. We definitely have to honor our own energy. And that would be great if we could totally, block out and live kind of in our truth. But unfortunately, many of us on the day-to-day cycle are navigating, either a workplace environment, navigating family dynamics, navigating friendships, navigating relationships, so I think the best thing we can do is have an understanding of our own internal dialogue, our own internal energy, and have that flow through us to help us navigate that external energy, but there's so much we can do to empower ourselves to bring the best energetic cycles into our lives, and when we can tap into that and we could try to move forward with that energy, we're gonna, answers are gonna unfold, and it may not be today or tomorrow, but the more you meditate on it, the more you tap into this inner guidance, things, thoughts become things, and our energy will allow manifestation to come into this energetic auric field that we have. So that's why it's so important to be mindful of, we speak about this all the time, the energy we're absorbing from other people and the energy that we're putting out into the world. It's those two energetic dynamics that are the basis of our psychic abilities and our intuitive abilities.
So what is psychic abilities? Well, we can follow our intuition. And what is it? It's basically an ability to understand something immediately without conscious reasoning. Maybe you're a clairvoyant and you have clear vision, the ability to see people, objects, locations, past, present, future. And maybe you're clairaudient. So clairvoyant is right here in your third eye, your mind's eye. Clairaudient, I'm clairvoyant. I think Michael's quite a few. Clairaudient is audience, is hearing from a distant location, the ability to hear things, noises, tones, voices, sounds from another location. Claircognizance, you have a knowing. You have a knowing without being told the information. It allows someone to know something that will be real. You'll know ahead of time. They have no way of backing this information. A lot of clairsenses, or most of them, unless you have the person in front of you and you're reading them, you have no proof. You have to have a willingness to accept. There's not going to be evidence. When we do readings, when I do a reading, I have someone, and sometimes they give a nod, or they go, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, and it's giving an indication that it's true. But if you're doing this for the first time and you're tapping into your psychic abilities, and maybe you're working on being a mind reader, telepathy, trying to hear other people's thoughts, although you really should ask for permission, or you get something of someone's and you're doing psychometry. Is that how you say it, Michael? Psychometry?
Yeah, psychometry. Yep.
I say it wrong.
Yep.
Anyway, and then you're learning about, if you get some kind of case or something that people have lost someone, or there's something that you need to find out, or you're just practicing, you can get someone's object and you can start to try to read from it. Now, when you are learning to become some kind of psychic, a medium, a psychic, a clairvoyant, a channeler, you're going to start by practicing and tuning in and trusting and having quiet and allowing whatever's to come forward. Maybe you're someone, everyone's different. It might be images, symbols, signs, messages. Maybe you're going to hear a voice. You're going to have your own special way of becoming a psychic or having psychic abilities. And we all have psychic abilities within us. Some of them are more stronger at first. Some of us have to practice. You have at least one major one and possibly three. There's also clairsentience, which is clear feeling. There's a whole bunch of them, which is the ability to physically feel someone else's emotions. It's clear empathic as well. You might be someone that goes into a room or a crowd and you can feel what other people are sensing and their moods, and it could be good or bad. And that's what I was before I figured out how to deal with it. I was clear empathic since I was a little child. And so I would have to put myself at a distance from people because I would absorb their senses. And then there's channeling and mediumship, which Michael could tell you more about, connecting and communicating to spirits.
Yeah, absolutely. But intuition is what we're born with, you know, that gut instinct, that knowing, and then we build upon that our psychic abilities. And then upon those psychic abilities is where everything, you know, that's the foundation of everything, of mediumship, of energy healing, of trance, you know, any of that stuff. Psychic abilities are kind of the fundamental foundation of that, you know. And as a medium, you know, psychic readings and mediumship readings are different, but I'm utilizing psychic abilities in my mediumship readings. You know, that's how I'm accessing information. That's how my language of energy is syncing with the spirit realm. But yeah, just to give everybody a quick run through: clairvoyance, clear seeing; clairaudience, clear hearing; clairsentience, you know, clear feeling; clairalience, clear smelling; clairgustinance, clear tasting; and claircognizance, clear knowing. You know, so they're generally the main psychic senses. And out of those, most people will dominantly have one of those, and then you build upon that dominant sense. And then, like me, I'll utilize all my psychic senses at this point in a mediumship reading, depending on the spirit realm, you know. And I don't know where different spirit will communicate to me in different ways. And sometimes all of my clair senses will fire at once, and I have to, you know, pull all that information. And that's why I tell people, you know, you're going to think I have ADD, or, you know, I'm a little psychotic here as I'm babbling all this different information. But sometimes all my clair senses are firing at once, because when a piece of knowledge hits, you know, depending on where the spirit realm is trying to imprint that knowledge, you know, it may be clairaudient. So I may hear, I may clairvoyantly see, I may also smell, you know, cigar smoke or roses, or, you know, a certain perfume. And then, you know, and it kind of always forms into a knowing. Then, you know, I'll utilize all my senses, and then it goes into like a clear cognizance, a clear knowing. And I'll absolutely utilize all my psychic senses to process that knowing, to bring that information through. But yeah, sometimes all of them can fire at once, sometimes two or three. You know, had a really interesting experience, because like clairsentience and clairalience, I had come through really big the other day in a reading. I had someone that was over, you know, we both felt like this energetic feeling of her father stepping in, and he was a big chain smoker. And the funny thing is, so my mom was a chain smoker, you know, for many, many years. You know, she had her Marlboro. I don't even know, like as a kid, all my friends' parents would blame me for causing their kids to smoke, when I was the one kid in the group that didn't smoke, you know. And I would go over to their house, and, you know, I'd have their parents, "What, you smell like cigarette smoke? Are you the one that brought, you know, my so-and-so cigarettes?" And all I could think is, oh man, my mom just dropped me off and she was chain smoking on the way over. And I couldn't stand cigarettes. I couldn't stand the smell. I still, to this day, you know, I really don't like the sense of cigarette smell. So immediately when I get clairalience and I start smelling that, I know, oh man, whoever's I'm connecting to was a bad smoker. Or sometimes I'll smell like a tobacco, or sometimes I'll smell a certain perfume. And it's interesting, but I had one of my you know, one of my sitters, all we both at the same time smelt her dad's cigarettes, and she was smelling it the whole week prior, before coming to me. She's like, "This is gonna sound really weird," and I'm like, before she even said it, because I don't like anybody telling me anything when you're sitting with me. I want to bring the information through. But
Yeah.
she's like, and I'm like, "You smell your dad's cigarettes?" And she's like, "I do," and I'm like, "I smell them right now too." So just know, the funny thing is, psychic energy can rub off on people, you know? So if you're pulling pieces of psychic information through, someone else that's near you could also start tapping into that same psychic energy. So like for you, Mary Amy, I'm sure, you know, there'll be times when, you know, I may start pulling energy in and then you'll start feeling that energy, or likewise, you start pulling some type of energy in and I'll start feeling that energy, you know, and that's something people have to understand is, you know, we're all intertwined, you know, everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. So it's
Or it's
interesting when
thoughts.
those connections happen.
Or it's thoughts too, where
Yeah,
you're,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you're coming up with something and then we'll both say,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm sure that happens with you with other people too, where they're thinking something and then you bring up that topic, or like
yeah.
I don't know, they have the same perspective. It's interesting. You have Mike, is it Mike Farah, you know, I can't say
Yeah.
Farah.
And
He says,
I'm on my
hello,
phone right
Michael and
now,
Mary.
so I can't see my Facebook feed. But what is up, Mike? How are you?
That's nice.
Yes. So
That's nice.
good. Hopefully, we have more and more people joining us. If anyone has any questions, put it in. Put it in the chat or
Put it in
put
the
it up on the
chat.
Facebook, and hopefully Mary Amy sees it. She can relay the
Oh, I
message
see
because
everything.
I'm not.
I'm
Yeah,
seeing
yeah. You
everything.
have everything open.
I see
I'm.
everything. Okay, so she's going to be joining us if she's on time. She's very busy. Kelly Wagner is the owner of and we can continue to talk about
Yeah,
this,
we'll
but
keep
let me
talking.
just present her.
Bring
So,
bring Kelly into this
yeah,
psychic
when she
conversation.
comes out, as soon as she comes, Kelly Wagner is the owner of Edge Magazine. It is online and it's also hard copy. The Edge Magazine media platform, which curiously explores the evolution of human consciousness and holistic living. Kelly is an incredibly gifted psychic medium, Reiki practitioner and channeler, and works energetically with astral and other lifetimes. I can't. Kelly has learned to use her unique set of tools in new ways with gifts of after-death communication. She is able to assist with both past and present issues, whether it's energetic healing or ancestry, current relationships, business, marketing strategy. She is known for asking out loud the questions most only think. She has her own podcast, which we were on if you want to look it up.
Mm-hmm.
And she's in the pursuit of the truth. She dials in and sees the illuminated yellow brick road, and she shows the path her clients should follow and fulfill their goals. She can be heard on her radio and podcast show, The Being Curious with Kelly, creating discussions that curiously connect teachers and seekers of a wide range of topics. She's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio 2, edgemagazine.net. I know that that's her channel. So when she comes on, I'll bring her right out. Michael, I have a question for you. In
Sure.
relation to your, because I'm going to interview you now. Okay, so in relation to your psychic abilities, have you had any, because like for me, I've had the scent before. I've had the taste where I would start tasting cinnamon. The person said that that was something related to their sister loves cinnamon gum. Oh, here, somebody else is making a comment. Oh, KG, looks good. Have you ever had anything with yourself where you've had spirit come to you and you can taste something that they like? Has that ever happened to you?
You know what? I have. Yeah. So clear tasting, clear gustinance.
Yeah.
That's probably the least frequent clear sense that fires off with me.
Mm-hmm.
And the weird thing is, so I could tell you, I had, and it's weird how spirit will connect and show me certain things. But I had a person that had drowned. Unfortunately, I had someone's child that I was, you know, they came to me. I deal with a lot of grieving parents, and I had no idea, when someone comes to me, I don't know any of their background. I don't know anything about them. I don't know. And I can't always guarantee who I'm going to connect to, but I could tell you with this one, I had a small, a younger male energy come through, and I kept on tasting salt water. And this is the reason why as a medium, you don't try to interpret, what you just say exactly what it is, what's coming
Mm-hmm.
through. I wasn't saying, am I tasting saltwater taffy? Am I fishing? Am I, and that's what I said to, I said to the mother that was there with me. I said, I don't know why you're so, and I had brought through his name. I brought through the month that he had passed, it showed me that. So she knew I was connecting to him. I knew I had a very good connection and I was understanding the energy, but I didn't understand why I was tasting salt water. And I tasted salt water, and then I started getting a lot of heaviness. And he had drowned, and he had drowned in the ocean. He was a surfer, and there was something that happened, and he got pulled into a riptide, and he never came out of the water, and they recovered the body. It was it was several hours later after he went under. But it's pretty interesting how spirit will show us different validation and evidence of things that occurred with them, either in their passing, their life, connections they had to the sitter. But I was tasting salt water, and everyone knows that taste, and you're just like, and normally the clairgustance is the least likely sense that fires off when I'm in a reading. So I knew that was big, and I knew it, and that's why I just had to say it. I don't know why I'm tasting salt water. I'm tasting salt water, and now all of a sudden I have a heaviness in my chest and I can't breathe. And it was like, and and then mom was, we knew, she's, oh my God, yeah, he drowned. That's how he passed. And it's interesting how spirit will show us that. But yeah, and I had another instance where
I have a question. I have a question.
Yeah.
So it's for you. It's from Lynn Attardi.
Oh yeah.
When you connect with
What's up,
spirits at times, do you get told to provide something to someone after you do see signs that are the spirit knows you provided it? Should I say that again? Let me try.
Give me that one more time.
Okay. When you connect with spirits at times, do you get told to provide something to someone? After, do you see signs that the spirit knows you provide? Oh, she's asking if someone's if someone says to you like, oh, tell me what so and so said. Do you see? Does the spirit know that you provided those signs? Like, are you getting communicated?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the spirit realm is right there. That's what I say. Heaven is, it's just a thought away. They're just in another dimension right around us. So the spirit realm. So say if say, just for example, for Lynn presenting the question, if I had spirit coming through for Lynn, and I presented her the evidence and the piece of information, that spirit wanted me to show her or present to her. Yeah, they're right there, so they know she received the information. And it's in part of that process, it's allowing the sitter, whoever the sitter, whether that's Lynn or whoever else would be sitting with me, it's allowing them to understand that I'm basically passing the torch on to them. Now, that dialogue can continue even if they can't hear it directly like I'm hearing it, or sense it, clairaudiently, clairvoyantly, claircognizantly. Their loved ones are there, and they're going to try. So what will normally happen then, once the loved one knows, okay, so we brought through evidence, we validated with the sitter that their loved one is connecting, and me as an evidential medium, I want to bring through evidence to validate that the body lives beyond the physical death. So once my sitter knows, okay, this guy is bringing through valid information that no one knew, he didn't know, there's no way anyone could have brought this information through other than my loved one in spirit giving that to him and him presenting it to me. So once that conversation opens and we have that understanding, then the sitter can start looking for their own signs. They can start developing their own psychic abilities. They can start developing their own energetic language with their psychic abilities to start trying to utilize their own mediumship abilities, and for some people it might be a little easier than others, depending on how long we've tuned into our psychic abilities or work with them. Or a lot of times artists, musicians, people that craft and build, and people that can get into that right brain and kind of push out that left brain may have an easier time initially. But we all have these abilities, and we can all work towards having our own communication with our loved ones in spirit. That's why I do this. I love doing my mediumship and doing galleries and private readings, but truly why I do this is to show people that we all have this ability, and we can all start to make that connection with our loved ones, so we have our own communication with them, and at some point don't need to go to a medium.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were just saying she's going to join us. She had an issue. Oh, she says she's backstage. She's at the wrong link. You're at wrong link. You're at wrong link. She's not. That's funny because I sent out two.
She's on next week's show.
I know. Okay. So, yeah, I know. I was going to say something.
She's ahead of schedule.
What?
I said she's ahead of schedule.
Oh, we got another message. La La Lane. La La Ann. Wait, let me put it up. She said, if I wanted to hear from my mother who has passed and she doesn't come to you, why? Why didn't she come to you? Aw.
Okay, so there's a couple reasons. So when someone sits with me in a reading, I can't guarantee who's going to come through, but I can tell you usually one of two things happens. So I'll give you an example. So when I'm doing like a psychic night where people are just sitting with me, if you're doing like quick one-on-ones and everyone's getting a taste of, energy healing, and they're going through, it's a whole night we do where there's multiple practitioners, and we have a great group of people together, and we're trying to show people different aspects of psychic abilities, different aspects of mediumship, different aspects of different types of energy healing and working with energy. So if I have 15 minutes with someone, I can tell you, even if mom is right there and mom is the one you want to speak to, but for some reason your uncle Bob that passed away 15 years ago that no one could stand because he was a little psychotic, but he's learned to navigate on the other side, he's going to probably be the one that jumps through because I can hear him the loudest and the quickest. And then mom might piggyback, or he might act as an intercessor to bring information through with mom, for mom. And then connecting to that energy, the longer our energy, like our energetic connection links, it grows and expands. And then the easier it is for other people that are either learning to navigate the other side and don't have as loud of an energetic connection, we kind of open and tune into them more. So that's why a private reading ideally is going to be the best reading for someone to sit with me, that we have the time to allow the energy to expand and connect. And I can try to specifically connect to certain people around you, but I never know who it's going to be. And I never know who the first one is that's going to step in. And like I could tell you, I had a lady, and I'm so glad I didn't know any of her information beforehand, because it would have totally threw my reading off, that she had specific code words for her son in spirit that had passed away, and specific things. And this is what I say, thank God I've been doing this work for a long time. And I was actually able to bring through her code word that she said she sat with. She was going to mediums and different readers for like 4 years. And then she was referred to me. And I'm not saying, hey, I'm glad I'm glad I was able to, there was no pressure on, and I didn't know ahead of time that this lady had some code word, because if she told me I had a code word and I needed to bring that code word through, I would have been so caught up in trying to think of that code word, this whole reading probably would have went disastrous. But because she just sat down, and she sat down with her husband, who was a non-believer, and I could feel his energy, and I started bringing, his mother came through first, and like literally completely shifted his energy. And off of that energy, we had a beautiful, beautiful reading where her son gave me their code word and showed me a very specific, basically showed me his dog tags, showed me his name, his date, and showed me the numbers on his dog tag. And he showed me that it was on her, it was in her pocketbook. And and it was a beautiful, beautiful connection. And unfortunately, if we have all this pressure on us, sometimes the ego or our mind can get in the way. So I'm so glad I didn't have any of this information ahead of time. I didn't even know their names. Someone else had scheduled the reading for them when they said, and then they sat down. And that it's doing this work and trying to do it and not allow the ego to get in the way, and just understand that we're just a conduit. We're the conduit for spirit. And we have to, what do they say, we let go and we let God. We let go when we become the intercessor, and hopefully I can bring through the evidence and the information to validate it. But I can't guarantee you who's going to come through. But I can tell you, if you really, really want them to come through, we're probably going to get someone. It may even be them initially, but if we don't, we're probably going to get someone else in the family, even if they weren't, first choice, that can kind of open that energetic link, or at least give me the information from mom to relay to, to the sitter. And it's a weird dynamic. Like, I've had people sit with me that I've had grandma come through. I had a lady, her sister came through, and, you know, she had also lost a child. And for some reason, the child didn't come through in that particular reading. And I don't know why that child didn't come through. And I brought through tons of evidence and tons of really good information from grandma, from the aunt, different things going on around the family. But for whatever reason, I didn't bring the child's information through. You know, they had acknowledged the child in spirit, and they had acknowledged different information around that. But, and I brought through the grandmother's name, the aunt's name. I brought through specific dates, specific things that were happening in the family, specific things that were happening with her other child and her husband. And the daughter didn't come through. And I don't know why, but the only thing I can tell you is sometimes what comes to me is the energy may have been so overwhelming that the daughter kind of held her energy back, because it may have overwhelmed mom and put mom into such a deep depression or some deep grieving that she was already grieving. And what we have to understand is, you know, the energy of grief can sometimes block out that connection, and sometimes it can make the energy harder to kind of pull through. Because that's what this is. When someone's sitting with me as a medium, it's a three-way energetic connection. It's my energy, it's the person that's sitting with me's energy, and then it's our loved ones in spirit. It's my guides, it's their collective, my collective. And we're kind of unifying all that energy, and we're trying to make me the conduit to bring the information through. I'm reading a language of energy. So the more grief, or the more hesitant, or the more, you know, the more cynical a person is, like being skeptical, I think, is a very good thing. We should be skeptical, and we should want evidence, and we should want our loved ones' information validated. Without that medium knowing anything about us, you know, that medium should be able to bring through pieces of information to show us, okay, my loved one is around them, or at least they're pulling through from, you know, Uncle Bob, even though they're not pulling through from mom, who I want to connect. I can see that there's validation and there's evidence, and maybe that energetic link will open. But like cynical energy, and cynical energy will block you out.
I feel like you're doing a reading. I'm like, hold on, our guest's in the waiting room. Michael's like
kind of going in a deep
dive. He's like a runaway train. Okay, so I would like to say that what I've learned doing this, and Michael's been doing it far longer than I've been doing it since 2015, like professionally, is that when I receive impressions, the best thing I can do, and this is if you're trying to practice your psychic abilities, is to trust. And you can't it can't be about what other people are saying or what you have to just, the less information they tell you, the better off you are. What impressions are you receiving? What images, what sounds, what nuances? Are you hearing a voice? Does it remind you of something? Do you smell something, like we were talking about the smelling and the tasting? Do you sense something? Does it not make sense? Most of the time when you're doing a reading, it doesn't make sense to you, but it will make sense to the person
it doesn't need to make sense
to
us.
So you just have to trust. And the more you trust and believe, then the more information. Because like what you just did was an example. Whoever this is it Anna? And you were connecting to something because you were really there. And she has another question, but let's bring out Kelly.
Well, it's funny, and that's another thing people don't realize is it's all energy. So we don't even need to be in person. You know, it could be like when we have questions come through, or we do readings online like this, or on a Zoom, on StreamYard. We're connecting to the energy, you know, and it's the same. You know, it's the same thing. I mean, I can tell you, a lot of our listeners, Lala, she definitely has a lot of energy around her, and it's funny because
she's giving a reading now. I'm bringing her out. I'm bringing her out because wait, let me just bring her out. Hi
everybody, how are you? I'm like texting Mary Amy. I'm like, he is in full flow. like he is rocking and rolling. It is awesome. Like I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm just gonna jump in and like harmonize with you guys. There's Kelly? No need for me to do anything.
How are you? We haven't seen you. We did your show, and maybe it was in the spring.
Oh my God. It was like a couple months ago, but like it feels like it's been all 4 seasons since we've been together.
A lot's happened.
How are you? So everyone, we are welcoming Kelly Wagner to Two Psychics.
Yeah, I
And
did
Kelly
I told you all about all of you
is a
about me
psychic, a
before.
medium, a Reiki practitioner.
Yeah,
She is a
yeah.
healer. She is an entrepreneur. She is a publisher, and she is the
Here's her magazine.
and
Cool
that is
little
The
brown
Edge
magazine.
magazine. So, what is up, Kelly? How are you?
Oh my gosh, like it's like so I was in Boston. I got home and I'm here and I leave at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning for Los Angeles for an event. So I'm like on both
Nice.
coasts in like no time. And it's just, oh my gosh, it's just so I love this stuff. I love the advice you were giving. I love like it's just I love the being skeptical. I love like yeah, because that's what we do. Like, and it's the dialing in. And it's so funny because I was doing a reading the other day and I kept seeing something. And I was like, I don't know why I'm seeing this like at all. And I just kind of and I pushed it away, which I shouldn't have. And then I blurted it out. And then my client just starts crying and crying. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm not saying the right thing, but I was like, why am I seeing jelly beans? Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
just, and then they just go. So yes, it's the finding the fine art of getting out of your head and just trusting intuition. I've just realized that my glasses are totally kitty wampy because I think they like got like smacked somewhere. But just like in that trust in that flow. And Michael was just in full flow, everybody. Like when you get
You
in
were
full
connecting
flow,
to Lala Ann, and she put another message. She has another
look,
comment.
do
Do
you hear
you
people's
hear
names?
people's names that are connected to the sitter?
Ooh.
You
Yeah, of
can. Yeah,
course.
Yeah,
you
like
absolutely
anything's
can.
possible.
I'm not
Yeah.
good with names in general, so I don't get names ever. I get personalities in the way someone looks.
Yep, I'm the same way.
I don't
But
get any names.
you know what someone told me a couple years ago, which I thought was brilliant, is that if you're getting something and it's just kind of coming in weird, ask the soul or spirit to turn around and then show it to you the way that you need to be seen. And it was like, oh, and the minute I'm like, hold on, pause, turn around, you got to show it. And then they always come back with something totally different and it makes so much more sense because I
Yeah.
think they come to us the way that they want to be and
Mhm.
they think they're their shorthand but
Interesting.
when you push
I like
back
that.
that's just a tip that's working for me
I
lately
love that
where
idea.
I'm
I'm
like,
gonna
okay,
do
pause
that.
it, hold on, I've got to see it so the way I can understand it. Or I love when I'm reading someone that's from a different country and they come in and they're speaking that language and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not fluent in Lithuanian right now, okay, I
Yeah,
need you to
yeah.
translate it into either pictures or English for me. And then they'll be like, okay, and then all of a sudden it'll flip. So it's all of these beautiful tips and tricks. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's getting that quiet and trusting the intuition.
Yeah. It's
Hey, Michael,
funny.
I'm sorry I disrupted your flow.
No,
Like that
no,
was
no, you're good. No,
beautiful.
I love it. No,
No,
we're gonna be bouncing energy off
we
each
have to
other
talk
now.
about
So
you. We want to. I want to
we're
know some.
going like a freight train now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got to hear all about Kelly and where Kelly came from because the last interview you interviewed us. So
I
I
did.
only have on paper and the conversations we've had and my intuitive ability, of course, who you are.
So
But
now we
we
have a
want to hear
whole
about
lot of
you.
questions for
Yeah, we
you.
have a lot of
Go
questions for you.
rattle them off. Let's go.
So you do your one that you always do every time, Michael. Go for it. You know which one that is.
Oh, here we go. Hold
All
on.
right, Kelly. So Kelly, before I ask a question, I'm gonna ask. Well, I'm gonna ask a question, but before I get into your personal questions, I'm gonna ask: did you receive my CDs? I sent them to you, so I'm hoping you got them. If you didn't, I'm gonna have to mail them again.
I did. And
Ah, nice, nice.
oh
All
yeah.
right.
Actually, yes, you sent them right away, which by the way, you were very, very prompt. You sent them right
I
away.
didn't send
I
anything.
I really like them.
I gotta
I
send
like
them.
the frequency that you were tapping into. That was
Cool.
fantastic. And luckily, I'm now driving a car that has CDs, so they're in my
Nice.
car.
All right, so you can get into the divine journey of a mystic soul, which you are a mystic soul, so you'll tap right into those frequencies. But
Yeah, they're fun.
so the one question, everyone out there, we'd like to thank Kelly Wagner for joining us on Two
Yeah.
Psychics podcast. So Kelly, the one question I like to get into is where did this all start? So you're a psychic, a medium, a healer, entrepreneur, a whole gambit of things, but where did the psychic abilities for connecting the spirit start? Did you come from a spiritual or a religious family? Were you open and tuned into this from a young age? Like what happened on your journey that kind of opened you to the energetic realm?
What was the jam? Okay, so blessing, so my husband says he's a recovering Catholic, and my parents really we went to church on Christmas Eve because my mom loved the music.
Mm.
So I did not have a lot of that programming, and I know there's a lot of people that have that programming in them. So I had this like totally clean slate of that. So that was awesome. I always had imaginary friends. I always knew things. I always knew the music that was gonna come on the radio before it came. I always when someone would, say something, I already had thoughts, like, Michael, a couple times when I was listening backstage, I saw and heard what you were about to say before you said it. So
Mm.
I always had those little things, but my parents did not, support that. They did not they thought that was a little spooky. They thought that was a little witchy. They thought that was a little and I'm from the Midwest, so it was kind of this "Shh, shh, 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 shh," kind of that. And I would say about 20 to okay, it was before my son. So 20 years ago, I've been always the girl that like I'm at the Renaissance Festival. Let's go get a reading. And you want to read my hands or you want to get tarot or I was always very, very curious. Ergo, that's why I have a show called The Being Curious Show. And then I was getting my hair done, and this lady was like, I have a psychic. And I'm like, ooh, you do? And she's like, you should meet her. And I'm like, ooh, that sounds fantastic. Let's book an appointment. And I went and saw her, and she's now like, it's her call out to Maureen Higgins. She is my mentor. She's my love. She's the adoptive mother that is just there in my world. And I went to her, I went to the appointment. She starts talking about past lives and the like parts of my soul. And she starts going in all these different places. And I'm like, okay, this is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like, oh my God. And then she's crossing someone over and doing this and that. And I'm like, well, okay. And she's like, your soul actually just is very, very curious. But I said the opposite. I was like, well, that was fun. I don't think I ever need to see you again. And then I went like this and I went, "Oop," and I had started yoga, which was really interesting at the time. So I was really coming into that. And then I get out into the car after seeing Maureen, and it was like Pandora's box was absolutely opened. And I'm like, holy ships across the ocean. This is amazing. And it just started to come in from there. So then I wanted to connect with more people and take classes. And I really kind of came under Maureen's wing. And that's just what's happened over the years. And then I'll do ancestral healing. And then I got into crystals. And so it was like I was on this. Oh, I'm seeing like a lazy river in an inner tube. And I just kind of got bumped to shore. And then there was a learning. And then I got pushed out again. And then I had more learnings and more learnings. And my husband, bless him, and I'm very, very lucky. Not a lot of couples are on the same journey. And well, you know what I'm saying. So one might be completely open, and another one's like, okay, you can go to your little retreat. That's okay. Let me know how it is when you get back, but don't tell me too
We
much.
always get the husband dragged to the session or dragged to the workshop with his arms crossed. Why did I
Yep.
get into
And he's
here?
like that. Yep.
They're usually the driver that gets the driver that gets sucked into it.
Right? And my husband was in the middle with all these women and everybody loved him and he's an artist and he's super curious and he does energy work now and like the man is so gifted. So I'm so incredibly blessed to have a partner in crime that we just openly talk about uh, the energy of this person or should we open this portal? I mean, so it's just like all these different things and that we can go back and riff back and forth, especially being in our community. It's great to have someone that's completely supportive rather than like, you're crazy, but I love you. And yay. And so it's just been, and then I was in marketing and I always did intuitive marketing, but get this, I have the office and then the president of the company would want my office next to his. And he's like, I don't know why it always feels nice when you're around. And then I have my essential oils going and I have my crystals and I have my dimly lit. I have like little chairs and it was like therapy. I should have just been paid to do therapy on these companies rather than marketing, but I just channeled it into the corporate world. And then the opportunity for the edge came up and we just jumped into it. We seriously jumped into it. So it's edgemagazine.net and my husband manages the website. We have a print magazine, we have podcasts, we have experiences and retreats. And for example, I got to go to Boston to do a strategic uh, planning meeting for 2026, but then she had a little side session of a masterclass on these tarot cards and we learned tarot for couple hours and it was just amazing. And now I get to go to Los Angeles to support this beautiful David Trotter from Awakened magazine that's having his first event, and I get to go with Tracy from Cover. We're gonna go and we're gonna support, and I get to volunteer, and I get to be like, hey, and we've been riffing back and forth, and we're collaborating like you two collaborate. 2026 is about collaboration, and I get to go collaborate with this beautiful soul that is just jumping in and doing it, and this is what I get to do. And then I have private readings, and I have the magazine, and I'm like a little hummingbird. Did I answer that in a roundabout weird sort of way?
No, that was
It's every
perfect.
day, and it's a muscle, by the way. I want to tell everybody that's like,
Yeah.
I want to. You got to keep playing. You got to keep trying. And
Mhm.
what's really funny now is with the community that I'm in, when I find someone that is like not into it, I'm like, you're kind of weird.
The
Doesn't
odd one
everybody
out.
talk
The
to the
odd one out.
Galactics on
Yes.
Easter? Isn't Christmas about meditation and bringing them in? Like, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, I think that's what a lot of people that are on the outside of this don't realize, that, many therapists, many doctors, many healing practitioners, whether teachers, people in the medical system, nurses, doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, they are super, well, the really good ones are super tuned in to their intuitive psychic abilities. And most of them are probably working on an intuitive level at such a high frequency that they don't even realize it. And I have
But
so
think of
many of them
someone,
come to me.
well, but look at someone that is a trial lawyer. That is a dance that very few people can do.
Mm,
Think about someone that's an accountant that can look at spreadsheets and numbers, and that
yeah,
they're
yeah,
using their intuition, but just on this human experience in just different ways. We're just dialing it in this way.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's what I tell everyone. Everyone and anyone that I'm working with, even if they don't want to be a psychic or a medium or an energy healer like we are, and do this for other people, just to utilize it in your own life, in your own relationships. Even you're going to buy a car, you're going to be negotiating completely different with that salesman, tapping into the psychic energy around that sale than you would without it. You're going to know, is that person being deceptive? Are they trying to manipulate me? What's going on with this situation? Especially entrepreneurs. That's what I tell people. I had a very large company for 21 years, and it was a very big, successful company. And if I didn't utilize my psychic abilities, I never would have grown it to how I grew it. So that's why I
Right.
tell any business owner out there, any entrepreneur, if you're not utilizing your intuitive psychic abilities, you don't realize how much of a disservice you're doing to yourself. There would be people in front of me that looked great on paper, but I knew I couldn't hire them. And then the person that looked horrible, I'm like, I don't know, I have to hire this person, and it's like, when I wouldn't listen, it would be 3 steps back to take 2 steps forward. When I listened, it would be like, all right, that was the right decision, and it paid tenfold. And I'm sure you're dealing with the same experiences. It's not just about connecting to loved ones in spirit. It's not just about, psychic abilities and, kind of wooing crowds and audiences and being, in that realm. It can be utilizing it in your day-to-day life, your day-to-day instances that you're going through, whether that's helping your kids navigate a certain situation or relationship. I've had, yeah, obviously mom's instinct, with the kids, hey, this is going on. Mothers all have that instinct. And I say you can take that to the next level. But people that aren't utilizing it don't realize, what a disservice they're doing, to themselves. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Kelly,
Yes.
Kelly, so you're experiencing a lot of influences because you're the editor of this magazine. So you have people presenting, pitching to you, and you're going to these events. Can you tell us one of these events or someone that you've met that would, like, I guess, be would awaken our listeners out there, something like an experience, because it sounds like you have a lot of them. What would be an experience that you had from one of these people, or an event that you went to that surprised even you?
Oh gosh. Okay. So there's many, but there's beautiful soul. Her name's Melissa Jolly Graves, and she is with oh, I got this hit to go to her place like right when I started and when we got the edge. And it was in a smaller town, a couple hours away from our location, and she did a crystal healing on me, but we kind of like saw each other and we're like, okay, what's going on here? And she heads up Let's Be Telepathy. She's doing a documentary in Egypt right now with water. And I've watched, she has ruins, and she reads tarot with 5 different decks simultaneously and just kind of goes. So I've watched her, and then I've got to know her on a soul level, and then we did a gallery together, and she's a beautiful soul that I just stand back and I'm just like, you flow, lady, let's go. Like let's absolutely go. And then we went to Mount Shasta together. And I was producing it with another partner by the name of Terry Peterson, and she's really into breath work and water. And we were like, I'm like, I don't know why, but Melissa just has to come to Mount Shasta with us. We have to bring her. And she's been in Egypt and she's traveling and all these things. And she happened to have this time to be able to come to Mount Shasta with us. And we're like, we went into a Telos portal and channeled for 4 hours. I mean, then we went and we're bringing in the Galactics, and then we're bringing in Bigfoot. I mean, so we're just like, oh my gosh. And then we did this and this and this. And it's just one, like the people that I get to meet on a regular basis are mind blowing. And I'm honored because it's not only for the community. I also have discernment. So you can imagine I meet all different kinds of people. And I think I really attract, and the edge attracts just really high quality people with integrity. And they're just in service. Like that's the best way to describe it. And I mean, and I've like in Los Angeles, coming. I can't wait to get to see these people that I get to meet. I went to Conscious Life Expo a couple of years ago. I have to say that was rather intense. I had to leave the building a couple times because like there was everything, all 4 seasons in one day. But I get to navigate around it, and like I put myself in like a little bubble and I just do 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 do. So it's oh my gosh, like ask me anything and I've probably met the person. And then Michael just flipped. So that was
Michael,
I
you
just
just
flipped.
turned
That was really
sideways.
weird.
Michael's in another dimension. Like
I'm
It's the
nothing
Galactic.
shocking
It's
anymore.
the
Like he
Galactic.
did that. I'm like, of course you did.
Very
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
Kelly, you're
We do
messing
have
with the
another.
energy.
We do have. Okay, so Lala Ann is really on a roll here. She said, I was regressed once. It's quite interesting. I was brought to 4 different lives. My last life, I witnessed how I died. The regressor had to quickly take me out of that situation with their voice and commands. Michael, oh, now you're asking Michael a question. We have some for Kelly. Michael, what is your opinion on my experience? Is it typical?
Okay, give me that one more time, and we're also going to so me and Kelly can both listen to this, and we're both gonna tune into this.
I was regressed once. It's quite interesting. I was brought to 4 different lives. My last life, I witnessed how I died. The regressor had to quickly take me out of that situation with her voice and commands. Michael and Kelly, what is your opinion on my experience? Is it typical?
Well, I guess going back to that moment in time, I mean, we can carry through, certain conditions and ailments. Like I had someone go through a past life regression, and the weird thing was I saw them in one life getting like literally had an injury near their kidney. And the interesting thing was, this person had consistent back pain with no injuries and actually had this really weird birthmark there in the exact spot that I saw it. And so certain things, they say can travel through lifetimes, certain conditions, certain phobias. Someone may have a fear of heights from, being pushed off a building in another, in a past life. So certain energetic cycles can carry through. And if she was going into some abrupt, cardiac situation or a breathing situation, and that practitioner, may have felt the energy was too overwhelming for her. And if that was like her first time going through, that may have been too intense. A lot of times you'll gradually build, or you won't go, sometimes in the first past life regression I did, I went through like two life cycles. I saw, even though there was several others in there, I guess the person didn't want to overwhelm me with all that energy. So, and I guess it varies depending on the person going through it and the practitioner taking them through it, but they must have felt that the energy was so overwhelming for her, it could have caused some type of negative, negative reaction that the practitioner had to pull her out of it. But yeah, we can absolutely carry things over from past life experiences, and I think that's part of this incarnation into this physical realm, is maybe working through those karmic cycles, working through those experiences to understand them, learn from them, grow from them, heal from them. So that's kind of the short cliff notes of probably what could be a very, very long explanation. But what do you feel around that, Kelly?
Well, here's what's interesting, and this is a great real life example. My son was late to ride a bike. We couldn't get him on a bike to save his life. Like, to the point where we're like, okay, what happened? So I went and asked, what's going on here? In that previous life, he had been hit by a horse and buggy when he was riding a bike, and he got hit, and he was put in a wheelchair, and he showed me the wheelchair, and it was like this wooden wheelchair. So once we cleared that, then we were able, then he went from training wheels to 2 wheels, like that, once we cleared it. So that was, I mean, I'm thinking that's interesting. I want to honor every practitioner that they're working with. I might have, but we don't know the whole situation. I might have handled it differently, of actually like, okay, let's like look at it from a 360 in a bubble. But again, we don't know what the session was, and we don't know everything around it. I think what the practitioner did was a very safe way of doing it and honoring Lala. And I really stand by that. I think that was fantastic. It would be interesting to go back and revisit it and then go deeper and look at from a different perspective and see if there's a learning. But maybe the practitioner said the learning's there and it's ready to go and everything's done and it's time to pull her out.
And
so there's nothing typical. There's nothing typical anymore.
No, there isn't. And it can all be different depending on the circumstance and depending on what you're going through in this life currently. Like if you're dealing with debilitating grief and loss and you're not in a really good place, that might not be the best time to go sit with this energetic past life cycle that's going to stir up more trauma or could stir up, more guilt or fear or pain, so you have to be aware of when you're going to kind of embrace those type of things and when you're going to go into that journey. But I would say depending on what may be happening with you at this current time could definitely affect how you're going into that, that past life regression.
And I think the practitioner made a very safe choice, which is really, and honored Lala, which I think that is really great.
And you have to, because it's not about, it's about the person you're trying to take through that regression. And it's, what is the best thing for them, so absolutely. I agree with you 100%, Kelly. I think the practitioner probably said, okay, either, my client isn't, either this can have some type of negative effect in bringing her out of this past life regression that I don't want her to experience, or this could be a little too intense right now. Let's revisit this at a later date. But yeah, absolutely. It was probably that person feeling, this is the absolute best thing I can do for this person right now in this instant.
And there's only so much you really can do to the human body, mind, and spirit in an hour or even 2-hour session. I mean, I've had clients say, we did 6 months of therapy in an hour and a half, which I'm like, okay, but there's only so much you can actually utilize and retain and then process, because that integration after sessions that you go that deep, you need to have sleep, you need to journal, you need to have water, or what you need to go outside, whatever it works for you. But it's like you can do that and you stick it in a blender and then you have to let it settle, and then you're in the human body and we're very 3D and like we're like here. So it's I think they played a good card.
I want to say something that's kind of funny. I believe that our energy is pretty powerful, and sometimes we connect to people or remind us to them that we exist, because you said Bigfoot earlier a few minutes ago, and right away when I think of Bigfoot, I think of David Eller. He just messaged me. I have not heard from him since we had him on the show, which was how many months ago, and he sent me a video, probably a Bigfoot video. So I don't know what's going on here.
We're all connected. It's all energy. It's all energy.
That's crazy.
Hello, David.
Kelly's opening these energetic portals on 2 seconds.
I know exactly. We are portals. I realize that more and more, and I realize that we can actually help not trigger, but kind of trigger other people into finding more of themselves without realizing it. Because if we come from a higher vibration and we're around them, it's almost like they want to follow suit and learn about that. And us talking about it is making it okay to do that.
It's almost like a balloon. We're lifting their weights, so they're going like that as well. I mean, it's actually really beautiful when you think about it. I tell everyone to just be curious. Curiosity, you can do anything. You can do anything with curiosity. If you come to the table with anybody that has opposing views or they don't believe what you believe, but you just are like, tell me more, and you're curious and you're present and you're open and you really listen, oh my God, the world would be a better place. Okay. I'm done. Gotta go. Bye.
Yeah, I think we activate other people. Oh, wait, did we get something else? Oh, I began getting very upset. I was in a horse and buggy with a husband. We drove off a cliff, and all I saw was wheels spinning as I was going off the cliff. I recall saying goodbye to my children, 8 of them, and in this life, I do panic leaving my children. And then she said, "Thank you, guys." That was about the reading.
Right. And again, we weren't there. And I'm never going to second guess anybody else or any other practitioner without knowing the full situation. I, there's so many different ways that that person could have handled it. I mean, that's especially if you started to panic, or getting very upset. Again, I think with the practitioner that you're working with, they played it very safe and tried to honor you. Maybe what you can do is go back and dive deeper into that situation. And when you're watching drive off a cliff, actually witness it, and go back to that scenario and that situation. I don't know. There's so many different ways that you can go through and revisit that.
Yeah.
But I think that the practitioner like opened it up and it's okay. Now, what do you want to do, Lala, with that information? Like
And
that's,
yeah, and sometimes it's good to just get a small taste of that past
yes.
life to see, okay, now I understand that I experienced this or I went through it. So now in a later session, I can go into a deep dive, just like you're saying, Kelly. Now we can go into a deep dive. I have a different understanding. So maybe I won't have that same emotional reaction when I start going through it, and that I
Peel
think
back the
that's
onion gently when you're doing this, or
peeling
it
it back
just
slowly.
whacks you.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I see you DJing and I DJ my own shows and I'm watching you do that. I'm like, good for you. You're just like popping up. You're doing great. Okay, we have Kevin saying something. What's Kevin? He's like just saying I'm like, Kevin, you need to give us more. We are psychic, so we need a little bit more, man.
I'm here. We see you, Kevin. We know you're there.
Hi, Kevin.
So Suzanne says, such an interesting conversation, so many questions and thoughts to think about. I have a question for you, Kelly. So what is your most prominent clairsense? We went through the clairsenses before you came on. I know you were busy. You weren't here during that time. What is your most prominent?
I'm a knower. So what's that?
Claircognizance.
There we go. Thank you. I always get the clairs mixed up. Like, right?
That's a good one. Yeah.
I'm a Swiss Army knife. I'm a really big stainless steel Swiss Army knife. Like I've got all these little different ones, but yet I'm coming also as you I look at it like sharpening your knives. Oh, I'm starting to channel. This is fun. As I'm curious and I'm diving deeper into other ones, I'm really getting good on the human body and I can start at the head and go down. So that's really fun. And it's that knowing. And it's like, what's that game where they had the human body on there and you had the little tweezers and then you had to go in and you had to like put little bones or buzz. Operation. I'm seeing like that now and they start to glow. And then, but I know people that like, they'll get these, I'll sometimes get smells of perfumes or things like that. I mean, so those are kind of coming in. It's the knower is just like that and automatic for me. And the other ones are starting to kind of go like, hello, we're here too.
Yeah.
I didn't answer
that's
that.
Good, I mean, a lot of times that's the one people strive to develop because I think that's probably one of the most powerful ones you can have is that claircognizance, that clear knowing, because that information then is just boom, here you go, you have it.
Just
and
here.
There it is. I know lots of psychics and mediums, they strive to develop that as their most powerful clair, so to have that be your dominant one initially is That's really good. Yeah,
I
yeah.
see.
That's
Well, and it's like tools, like different people with different tools. Let's just say pendulums. I mean, I love. Oh, I know the pendulum ladies. Out of Minneapolis, and they're amazing, and they make these gorgeous pendulums. I just see yes or no or green light, red light. I mean, I just see it. So it's a tool I play with. That's why I took the tarot class, because I'm like, cards are great and people love cards. People love a little bit more of an explanation. I just see it and it's just like, oh, I know this. And I
yeah,
know that knowers can see things or know things
yeah,
before some of the other senses. So it's fascinating, but like sharpen your knives, play
yeah.
with it.
They're all tools,
They're
it's
all
all tools
tools.
you can have in the toolbox,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like to call it Mary Poppins carpet bag because
Hmm.
anything's possible.
Yeah. One of the ones I find fascinating. Do you have any tea leaf readers by you, Kelly? Any tea leaf readers for the edge?
Yes, very, very few.
Yeah,
I'm fascinated by that.
I am
Oh,
too.
egg
I am too.
reading. I'm
Yeah.
I'm curious about that. Oh, also the gentleman that Fernando Tellez in our world, he does fire ceremonies. Have you guys ever had a fire ceremony?
About
Yes,
five
Michael
five
has.
years ago. Yeah, 5 years ago, I did one with a shaman, and it was pretty intense. Pretty intense.
I was worried he was gonna burn the building down, but he's like, "No, no, no, Kelly, it's okay." So we found cement and he put alcohol around and
Mm,
then lit it and it went all the way around. And I was like, is it gonna burn my pants? Is it gonna burn my hair? Are we gonna like, do I need a fire extinguisher? And
mm,
it was awesome. I just felt things just flowing and coming off of me. And I was like, oh, I want to do
yeah.
that every Friday.
Yeah, we have a good friend of mine, a medium, Gloria Wygand. She does these drum circles where we'll have a huge bonfire, and it's kind of crazy because in the drum circle, and then we'll usually go into like a spirit circle where we'll start giving messages. And we've had some crazy stuff come out of the bonfire flames. And she had some photos, and and encourage people to take photos and kind of document the whole process. And there was one where we saw this huge angel just come out of the flames, and it was pretty amazing stuff. Yeah, so yeah, utilizing the natural elements, very, very powerful, very powerful. And the
Oh
spiritual
yeah.
realm can manifest into the elements very easily.
Well, and we think we know things, but like I'm out in Mount Shasta at our retreat, and then I'm like, I come out of a little meditation and I go to this group and I'm like, who are the blue people? And they're like, well, this is the Telos and they're this and that. And because they greeted me and they're like,
Mm.
oh, we've been waiting for you to come back. Hello, old friend. And I'm like, who are the blue people? They're like, well, you're the leader of this. You should know. And I'm like, I don't know who the blue people are, but they look like avatars and they're all around me. And now they won't leave me alone. And it's like, okay, hello, friends.
Have
It's
you
it.
seen them since you went to Mount Shasta?
Oh gosh, yeah, they're now with me all the time in the shower in the morning. They're just like, "Hello, we're back." Right? So like, "Hello." Like, yeah, it's like, okay.
Part of your collective, part of your
They are
spiritual
part of my
collective
collective.
there.
My optimal spiritual team. I have the blue guys that look like avatars. And they're like,
so
"Yay."
so what were you doing in Mount Shasta? Share a little bit of that with us.
Absolutely. So we hosted a retreat. So Terry Peterson and I went there and we brought a group of about 20 beautiful souls. And what was really funny is talk about like divine everything. The Friday before the retreat happened, our retreat center canceled on us just at 7:33 p.m. We're like, sorry
Wow.
guys, we're done. And then we regrouped and found some Airbnbs, like a triad, like within 5 minutes of each other. And then a day before the retreat, our chef canceled on us because of life happened. So we but found this beautiful lady named Heather, who it was a shaman, and she helped at the a sweat lodge that we did, and she was drumming by the water, and like we were like, oh my God, talk about optimal outcomes. And if Mount Shasta, if you haven't been, it is so powerful. It is amazing. It is hippity dippity. I mean, there is a lot going on there, but I really connected with it. And some people connect with Sedona or Jackson Hole or Arkansas or wherever. And I've really been blessed to travel, but Mount Shasta was like, oh, and then when the blue people came in, I was like, oh, hi. Like, right. I'd only felt that energy in Maui. And so it was great. And so I'm already 2027 planning another one. It's going to be
Oh, all right.
yeah,
Wow.
Mount Shasta was
All
crazy.
right.
So we had
Yeah,
the
I'll go.
the Bigfoot sighting. We're coming
Yeah,
off the
yeah.
mountain And of course, there was a guy on top of, like, on the side of the mountain, on the top of his minivan, professional drum set, just playing his drums in the
Nice.
middle of the mountain. And of course, I'm like, I
Great.
pull the car into, I whip her a Yui, and we just start watching him play. And he was a professional musician from Michigan who wanted to go to Mount Shasta and play his drum set. And we cheered for him, and I got up and I gave him a tip, and then we went away. And it was like, oh, of course we're in Mount Shasta.
How cool is that? Now, how far is Mount Shasta from you?
4-hour plane ride, and then we flew into Sacramento, and then it was 3 hours up. But if I were to do it again, I'd go to Oregon and Medford and just pop down. But it's just, yeah, it was great. It was lovely. And we did breath work, and then we did psychic medium stuff, and we met monks. I mean, everywhere we went, there was just these serendipity things happening. And Mount Shasta is it's a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs place. I guess in the summer, there's like 30,000 people that descend on this little town. And then off season, there's about 2,500 to 3,000 people. So it's but you see the mountain and you're like, oh, hello. Okay, let's roll.
How cool is that? No,
Absolutely.
That's definitely got to be on my bucket list. I'll have to
Me
go.
too. That's a portal. And
it's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I want to talk to you about those blue people off camera.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I was like, what's with the blue people?
I know about the blue people. That's what I'm curious what you have to say about that. So what's your plan? Okay, here you are. You've achieved so much. And how long have you had this magazine? How long? 5 years?
5 years, and it's 33 years old.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, right?
So
and it was just this little print like magazine forever. And Gary Beckman started it, and then he did events in the Midwest, but he was bringing in like national names because it was like I don't want to say it was the only thing in town in the Midwest, but we're such flyover country that people really are just like, the communities are growing like exponentially. They're just like, it's like growing. And I love our retreats. I love our experiences. The magazine's amazing. I mean, we're growing in all of these different areas that I just am like, I'm having a hard time keeping everything under control. And then there's
Have
the
they
people.
interviewed you out there? Have they interviewed you out there where you are? Like, has any news companies or anything like that other than the internet? Because I just got this about you.
Oh, well, thank you. Yes, but there could be more. And actually, the strategic retreat I just did in Boston, I have to get my media and leverage page together because, right? And anytime we've been on news for our events, I always get the off air. They're like, "Can I please have your card? Because we'd love to have you on. You're a great interview." And I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah,
that's cool. That's great. And the magazine is in good hands now, and I'm sure it's a new horizon, a new journey, right? And big endeavors.
Absolutely. I love it. And the magazine it's a way for my husband and I to work together. And we're very, very different. I'm the hummingbird and he is the turtle. So it's just kind of fun watching us work together.
So you got
but it's like our community.
Energy, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. He actually, so the new one's just out. And while I was in Boston, we sent out about 8,000 copies to drop spots and subscribers. And we actually charge him with a huge quartz crystal. And Steve has sacred geometry throughout all the pages. We have a lot of people that they have screen fatigue. So they really want that print. They love it. And that's why I'm weird about my paper. And I'm weird about all of those things because it really matters. And he mailed them all without me this time. So I was just like, I got out of that one. It's a big thing. It's a big thing.
Have faith.
Yeah, have faith. But we work with other partners and different events in the Midwest. They hand out our magazines at their events. And it's great. And so I was out in Salem, and we have Witch Jody from Midwest Witchery and Healing, who's the Salem of the Midwest. She has connections out there. And I had a couple magazines and people were like, "Oh, Witch Jody, we know her." I'm like, "Well, thanks, Witch Jody." So we have 5 new drop spots that are going to be in Salem. And spiritual
Nice.
tourism is so big these days and it's really,
Yeah.
really growing. So having drop spots for the magazine in Mount Shasta or Sedona or Salem are really, really, really key because that's where the people that are our readership, if they're going to go, that's their Disney World. Minneapolis is the third largest pagan community in the nation, and they like to go to Salem. So let's bring Salem to them
Mm,
and Sedona and Mount Shasta and just all those fun things.
yeah. Absolutely. That's awesome. We'll have to work on getting you some spots in New York and New Jersey.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
I think so. I was thinking that. And you were, where were you? So where were you recently? You said Boston? That's still too
Boston
far
this
away.
week. Yep. And then I tomorrow at 9 a.m. I fly out to I get to go to LAX. How exciting for that.
No- So now this is a big metaphysical conference, or what is it that you're
Yes,
going?
David Trotter from Awakened Magazine. It's his first gig, and he's doing great. It's good. He's brought in great speakers locally and nationally, and I just felt really called to go support. And then I'm a part of Cover, the Coalition of Visionary Resource, and I'm on their board, and I get to go hang out with Tracy Dunblazer, and it's kind of a twofer. I get to go hang out with her. She's speaking at the event, and then I get to go support David. And I went to him and I was like, "Where do you need someone that runs events all the times? Just throw me in. I'm volunteering. I'm here in service." He's like, "Would you do the welcome desk?" I'm like, "Absolutely. Stick me in front of a whole bunch of people and let's just go." So it was really I
Nice.
love that. And it's fun. And it's all about collaboration. Anybody that's competitive, I try to partner with friends all over the place, and it's just so much more fun. I have
Yeah.
people like, "Why don't you do your own thing?" I'm like, "I don't wanna just do my own thing. I don't wanna be the only one on stage." That's why, like, you 2 yinging and yanging together is so beautiful. Because Michael brings this, Mary Amy brings this, and you come together. It's like peanut butter and jelly, go let's go find the bread.
And now, yeah, and then we get fantastic people like you to connect it
Exactly.
all, right?
We're
No,
bringing
I,
out
I think
people.
that's what it's about, though. I think if we're in that mindset of being of service, trying to give back, then collectively we can do more together as a whole than we can do individually, and I think that's what this is about. It's truly bringing this awareness to to the world. The more people that open to this metaphysical realm that we're swimming through, I think the better off the world will be.
Well, you have different gifts and abilities than Mary Amy does. And so my partner in Edge Life Events Reawaken is the amazing Eric Earl with Awakening Stores and Two Guys in the Know and there's so many other things. His background and what gives him juice are totally different logistical parts of an event than I do.
Yeah.
So I go over here and go into my lane. He goes into his lane. We come in and we just yin and yang. We're like, who needs to do this? Boom, boom. I mean, things just naturally happen because he's got this, I've got this, and we come together. It's a beautiful way of collaborating.
Absolutely. I like looking at it like a band. You need the drummer, you need the guitar
Yeah.
player, you need the bass player, maybe a keyboard player, and you need the singer, and you throw them all together and they make awesome music, but without any particular part of that, it's not going to be the same, and yeah, and it's
Straight
cool. And
up.
yeah.
Bringing people together makes the whatever whatever you're transferring more powerful. So when we are together, our message is more powerful, and then we bring other people on, it's even more powerful. It's reaching more people. And Michael has different ideas than I do, and together, it combined, it works for us. And I love bringing on people that are authentic and they really are genuine, and it's about their love for it. Like it's a calling. Everyone we have on, it's a calling for them. They can't help but do it. And
Mhm.
it's really like some of it's a side gig, but not. It's their life, their passion, and they have to put the message out. Just like what you're telling us with your magazine is so beautiful, that you're pursuing this, and you are really an entrepreneur, that you're doing this, and you have this within you, this drive, I think is so amazing. Now, did you start out as you said marketing? Did you start out as a writer? And are you writing? You're writing something too,
What's
aren't you?
interesting, I was told in college, I was in a 5,000 level writing class, And the professor pulled me aside and he pulled me out in the hallway and he said, I was getting an A in the class too. So I want to like be like to the guy. He's like, "You're never going to be a writer. You're too conversational. And I just want to let you know that." And I looked at him and I was getting an A in his class and it was almost done. I was like, "Do you feel better?" "Okay, cool. I'm going to go back in the room." Like that's seriously like what happened to me. So he put this frequency of fear
Oh,
around writing for me for many, many, many years. And I, for a long time, a part of the magazine was just the curator. I would just bring things in, I would connect. But I'm starting to write more.
mhm.
And that's, I could do a lot more. I could do a lot more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're a
absolutely.
creator.
But it's, marketing, and I've worked for large companies. I worked for Best Buy, um, and some PE firms, and I was in the dairy industry. I worked for my dad for 17 years, and he is an entrepreneur in healthcare. So I've had this full spectrum of gifts and abilities and struggles and challenges and responsibilities. I mean, when I worked for my dad, we're sweeping, we're packing orders, and I'm doing marketing and I'm on boards. So it was like all of that.
That's the life
And
of the
then
entrepreneur.
it is the life of the entrepreneur. I was absolutely led, and I think a lot of your listeners will feel this. I sold, so I wanted to be in advertising. So Melrose Place was big when I got out of college, and I was like, "Ooh, I want to be an ad exec at a top agency in Minneapolis." And I went in and I got a job and it basically didn't even pay for parking and I actually interviewed at a local newspaper that was going to give me an account exec position. Publisher interviews me and she was fired the day before I started. So I show up for my first big girl job out of school and they're like, "Yeah, the lady that hired you got fired. We don't know what to do with you." So I became the little mentee of these local newspapers and I just jumped in and the publisher loved me, which hi Frank. Just we worked really well. So he'd walk in and he'd be like, "Oh, it's my mentee." And I bounced to different territories, but I learned so much. And I was calling parades and I mean, it was just crazy what I was thrown into. And then worked for Best Buy and then worked for my dad. And I mean, I've had this really interesting career and it all led me to this. And I have to say, like, my dad did not want to have a bookkeeper and he did not want a lawyer. It was the first thing I hired as this because I watched my dad do so many beautiful things and give me so many gifts, whether they're positive or negative, learnings all around.
Mm,
Isn't it
And
funny
honest
though? Oh no,
interesting.
isn't it funny when your soul is calling you to do something like that? It will keep calling you till you do it. But in the path to getting there, I think everything you went through, everything you learned, was part of the process to to make you who you are now and to give you the abilities to do what you can do now. Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic. And when I was at one of the companies, we were doing trade shows that were $1 million
Mhm.
and we spent $15,000 on vacuuming the trade show booth one year and the director above me was like, "Okay, I'm buying everybody Dysons and you guys are going to be vacuuming the next year. I'm not going to spend that." So it's really interesting and when it comes to marketing, it's just zeros. I take everything like it's my own money. I'll tell advertisers like, "Don't do this, do this," even though it might not be the best decision for me financially as a business owner or in sales. But I'm like, this is I wanna do my clients right, and I wanna spend their money like they're it's my own, and I want them successful. I want people calling me up and say, "Oh my god, I saw you in Edge magazine," or "My neighbor gave this," or "I did that." I'll give a really quick story. I had a client that came to me a couple of weeks ago, and she had been reading The Edge for 10 years. So 5 years before we took over. She found out of our one of our partner advertisers that does past life regression, cut out his ad and put it on a refrigerator and just looked at it like 2 years later. Because a lot of the stuff we do, it's diving deep. We're not just doing craft fairs. We're not just doing these little light things. When people are talking with us and we're diving deep, this is serious stuff. So she finally got ready. She started to see him. And then during this time, about a year ago, she cut my ad out and put it on the refrigerator. And then one day she asked him, "Hey, do you know anything about this redheaded chick?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, that's Kelly. She's great. You should totally set up a session with her." So it's just really interesting on that, on how we have to build the trust, because it's like that practitioner for Lala or Lolo Ann is, you might have handled that session differently. Mary Amy might have handled it differently, and I might have handled it differently. But that person was trying to do Lolo Ann right, and that's what we're all trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
No,
I also believe that the client, the sitter, as Michael says, knows who resonates with them. So they know where they're supposed to get the information. I mean, for the most part, that's what happens to me. Some of combined of what you just said, where it takes time. It's not a quick thing. People have to look at it, consider it. I have people reach out to me and then they finally book it 3 weeks later. So it has to resonate with them, and certain practitioners people are drawn to, and they're going to help them.
Yeah.
You know, at our
Exactly.
events, we'll have, and this is interesting, we're actually, Eric and I are going to be doing a session on it. Oh my gosh, thank you, Suzanne. You're gonna love it. Oh wait, I gotta tell this story. This is a better story.
Clients from who you have helped from this difficult period in my life. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
We had someone subscribe to the magazine, and it was a mother for her son. And there's an Edge magazine that is a gaming magazine, so we'll just put that on there for gamers. And we get this letter, and it's on college ruled paper, and it was from a prisoner. And he's like, I just want to say my mom got me the magazine. She meant to get me the Edge gaming magazine, but ordered yours. And basically, thank you, but no thank you. And we will not be subscribing. And I handed your magazine off to some friends, and I've attached some of their letters. And I got 5 different letters from 5 different inmates. Like, we're talking longhand letters that, oh my gosh, I'm barely holding on. I read your magazine, and I have hope. And I mean, it was just letter after letter after letter. So now we send a complimentary subscription to the prison, because I know it's getting handed around. And if our magazine's getting handed around to prison, I'm like, yay! It's just fantastic.
Hey, it's like divine intervention, and in a way, they were meant to hear that, or they needed that for some type of healing on their journey. And that's fantastic. That's an amazing. I have to say that was divine intervention.
Oh, absolutely. And I was not offended that he was not gonna, but I didn't want to ask, like, could you tell me who the other people are? Because I'll just send them ones. But it was great. And I know it was getting read cover to cover to cover to cover there.
Yeah.
And we go to libraries, and what's really interesting now that we're in year 5, if the publication comes out late, I'll get 25 calls from people all over the place. They're like, I just want to let you know that the Edge isn't at the library yet, or it's not at the grocery store. And I call my poor distributor, and he's just like, okay, I'm behind schedule, or I'm doing this, or the papers came late. I'm like, you guys hold on. It's all good. And then I'll tell them to go read online, and they're like, no, we want our print. And I'm like, okay.
Well, it's funny, even like me, when I could have Kindle, but if I get a book, I want the book, and I want to hold it, and I want to kind of flip the pages, and I want to feel it. And, so there's still some of us old schoolers out there that want that feel, so I think it's awesome. Same reason why I still make a CD, and you can put it into your CD deck, and some people don't even know what a CD is. Same thing while you're doing paper print, I think we still have to honor some of those old school traditions. And some people, like the energy of that, of that periodical, of that CD, of, kind of holding it in their hand. There's just a different essence to it,
Totally different efforts. Like, you're right on. And will print be gone during my lifetime? I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. And that's why we have this platform where we have digital, we have print, we have experiences, so we can meet people where they're at. And that's really important to me, because okay, the attention span of everybody is a flea. What is it? Like, you get 3 seconds now. And if you don't get someone's attention in 3 seconds, they scroll past you. It's like, okay. So we do different things.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great. It's funny because, your energy just fires up when you talk about this stuff. Like your whole aura just shifts and it just like lights up. And that's an awesome thing to see, you know, because you have that passion and that like just that inner drive and that determination. And no, I'd love to see that. I think that's fantastic. I think there is so much. I think you're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. There's so much on the horizon for you and so much on the horizon for, you know, the Edge magazine and what you're doing. No, it's good. And honestly, I mean, it's people like you that inspire me to want to do more, you know, and it's a cool thing. I think we could feed off each other. And I think, you know, we need more people like that in the world. We need more entrepreneurs. I think, you know, the younger children, unfortunately, I think there needs to be people like us that can mentor, you know, kids and have entrepreneurship be a thing, and not everyone wanting to be, you know, a drone in society and just go to school, learn their process and then just go work a 9-to-5 and die. I mean, you know, for some people, maybe that's a thing and that's what they want. But to see that entrepreneurial passion and just that fire burning in your soul, that just, you know, that lights me up.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And this is just the beginning with us. We need to have a meeting offline and just like, okay, how do we strategize for 2026?
We do.
Because again, putting our pools together, putting our black books together from the people that I know and you know, to be able to amplify their voices is just, it's really powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. This is good stuff. Now I know we didn't get through all of Mary Amy's 50 questions she had, but what
no, I didn't. I'm good. You answered. No, honestly, I said what I like. I don't know what's so strange is there's some kind of different connection that I have with you now. It just leaped during this podcast. I don't know. It's in a good way. And I have to get my books to you. That's the other thing. I've had events that I've been bringing them, but I have to send them to you. I have to get the address and send you my books and I have to get your print copy of your book. I've looked at it online, but I'm somebody who likes books. I mean, I have hundreds of books. But
people offer to send me the PDFs. I mean, you can see my books back here that I love. And I'm like, okay, great. Send me the hard copy. If you want me to actually read it, I'm not going to read a PDF. And I'm like, okay, I'll send me the PDF if you're not going to send me the book. But I will tell you there's a pile. If you send me a book in the hard copy, it goes in a much fast-tracked pile than the PDF versions.
I'll send you my books.
Please do. Oh my gosh. I love it.
It's been on my mind. I just didn't do it. And then when you said, I was like, oh my God, I never sent them.
She got my CDs.
You got your CDs. You shouldn't get my book. That's okay. It's 2026. You'll get them by 2026.
Beautiful.
That's awesome. So everyone out there, we want to just let you know we have Kelly Wagner here from the Edge magazine, psychic medium, Reiki practitioner. Now, Kelly, anyone of our listeners that's checking out this podcast right now and wants to follow what you're doing or wants to follow the Edge magazine, can you share your contact information and your social media and everything with them?
Absolutely. So edgemagazine.net, and you'll know it's not a gaming magazine. So that's the website. Edge Magazine on all the socials. And so we are on Facebook. We are on, all the socials. Our Pinterest page is we get like 30,000 people visiting our Pinterest page every month, which is just fascinating. Right? Nice. YouTube channel's growing. Please, everybody, like and subscribe, connect. I really am grateful with it because our numbers are growing. YouTube took so you guys can imagine, we had a YouTube channel with 400 videos on it, and we had an herbal sponsor advertiser, and they did not like that. So
we know it all too well.
Yep, we had to deal with that. That was
we got a hand spanking.
Yep, you got that. You're just like, but come on,
Did you get back on? Are you back on?
No, we restarted it.
Okay, because ours was taken down. I had another channel taken down, and then I had seen on X that they were giving people their channels back. I put it back up. They gave it back to me. They gave our channel back. I spent 4 months uploading, making radio podcasts into videos. So, and we have been streaming, except Michael pops in and out, and he's invisible man. So we have to figure because he's doing it from his phone.
the powers that be, unfortunately, don't want all of this metaphysical, natural, healing, all this information to get out there, but the more we speak about it, the more light we bring to the masses, the more it's going to be embraced, and that's all we could do.
Oh, absolutely. So we have that back. And then if anyone, I do private sessions. My email address is Kelly, Kelly at edgemagazine.net. Reach out if you're curious. But yeah, check out the magazine, subscribe to the magazine. We mail them, like my husband just mailed them. And so you get the essence and you get that, and they're charged with crystals and they make people happy, and people collect them. I was like, oh, come on, you don't collect them. And they're like, people do. I'm like, okay. There you
People
go.
are going to be selling them on eBay for $1,000 a couple of years from now. This is
that would be awesome. Right? I would be so excited with that. Like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I'm the blue guys are all around you, Mary Amy. They're like totally around you right now. I see them and they're like, mine are meeting yours. They're like saying hey to each other, like, hello, old friends. Yeah, they're doing that. Oh, and then Michael's in the middle just being like, woo, woo, woo. Michael shoots fireworks off. You're like big Roman candles, like.
Hey, I'll take that.
Go big or go home, right?
As long as my head's not exploding, I'm good.
No, your head's fine. It's everything else around you. It's great. I love it.
Kelly, it has been a fascinating conversation. Yeah, this is awesome. I feel like we could go another couple hours just talking. It's good, but I know you have places to be and you're leaving for an early flight tomorrow, so we're not going to keep you on till midnight, but it's been a fantastic conversation. I am so glad you were here on Two Psychics Podcast joining us. Anyone out there, again, this is Kelly Wagner, it's theedgemagazine.net.
Is it the
Edge Magazine? Just edgemagazine.net.
Edgemagazine.net. So anyone that wants to check out Kelly Wagner, edgemagazine.net or Kelly at edgemagazine.net for email. All right. But thank you so much for joining us. This has been a fascinating conversation. I can't wait to see. We're definitely going to be connecting and going to be doing something in the future.
Definitely,
because our energy is on fire. We got to capitalize on fire.
And we'll communicate off screen, and then well, get me both of your addresses so I can start sending you our magical magazine so you have them.
And we're going to try to get you in circulation in New York and New Jersey. I think I think we can work something out there.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys.
Suzanne says, great show. Keep bringing the messages. It brings lots of hope and happiness. And that
Thank you, Suzanne.
No,
thank you so much for joining us, Kelly. You're amazing.
So are you guys.
My blue guys are friends with your blue guys now.
Oh yeah, they're all like zooming around. No, you know what? They're going around the tree and they're sticking their tails in and they're all connecting in the circuitry. Oh my God, that's fantastic. Yep.
Our collective there's Michael. The collective is expanding.
It's expanding. It's expanding. Oh my gosh. Bye everybody. It was lovely being here. Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Bye.
you.
Bye. Okay, I was gonna say. That was so interesting.
Yeah, that was good. I felt like we were in like free flow. That was great. Yeah. Kelly's got great energy. I love her energy, and she's got such passion for what she's doing. So it's cool when we could speak to people like that and, kind of bring their energy with the Two Psychics energy and share that with our viewers. But thank you everyone that's been watching Two Psychics Podcast tonight. We had Mike, we had KG, we had Lala, we had Sue. Thank you everyone for your questions, your comments. We really appreciate it. And anyone out there, if you like what you're hearing right now at Two Psychics Podcast, please share our podcast, like and follow us on Facebook. We are streaming on all streaming platforms. Give us a little love. The more love you give us, the more energy we bring out to the world, and the more people will hear Two Psychics Podcast. If you are interested in anything that we are doing, anything coming up, you can check out maryamyofficial.com or eyeofthespirits.com or Two Psychics Podcast on Facebook, Eye of the Spirits with Michael Edley on Facebook. Mary Amy has her dream journal, her children's book, a lot of cool stuff. And you have an event coming up,
I
right?
do.
Why
I
don't you
have an
share?
event coming up. I want to talk about that for a sec, and I also want to talk about upcoming show next week. So we had done a live event at the Manor Club in October, and I've been invited to be a psychic reader at their holiday boutique. It's next weekend, December 14th and 15th. It's Saturday and Sunday, and I'm there for the day. So I think it's 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and it's an event that has clothes and Santa Claus and food, and it's really a nice event. It's a large space. They have many vendors, and I'm there giving psychic readings, so you
Yeah,
can
it's a great
join
place.
me.
The
It's
Manor
gonna be a
Club
lot
in
of fun.
Pelham. We had
Yeah,
a fun time there, and I
I
think
know.
next year
I
we'll be
want to
going
do a
back
big
there
event there.
we'll be doing a big event in their theater some point next
Yes,
year.
yes,
So it's
a
going to
big
be
event
fun.
with
Yeah,
300
yeah.
seats.
Couple
Yes,
thousand people, and it's going to be good, or whatever.
exactly.
However, it's a great place. Great
Our
place.
European tour
Looking
is
forward.
coming. So next week we have, I don't know, it might be the last show of the year, 2025. I'm forgetting. It will be episode 77. And we're having Julie Clark, who's a starseed light worker, and we're going to have a psychic readings.
Yeah,
So
we're going to
anyone
be
who
doing
wants
readings
to join
all
us for
night.
psychic readings, you can contact us
Mm.
on our Facebook pages if you would like to join us, which we can have you come and join us here. And it's going to be a 7:30 show. So if you would like to get a psychic reading from Michael and I, or a mediumship reading from Michael and I, you can join us next week with Julie Clark, who is a starseed way shower. She is in contact with many benevolent beings and angels, an angel channeler, an extraterrestrial channeler, and also a starseed lightworker. So let us know. You can go to our Facebook
Yes.
page, Two Psychics Podcast. You can go to Michael Edley's page, ihavethespirits.com. I'm maryamyofficial.com, and you can join us. Michael, do you have
I'll give a quick update. So I added in 2 additional days for 2025 for private in-person readings. So this what is it, December 14th, Sunday December 14th, and Monday December 15th. I still have, I think, 3 or 4 spots still open. I just opened it up the other week, added those 2 extra days in. Most of the spots are filled, but I think I have maybe 3 or 4 spots still available. So they are the last private readings you can get with me for 25. And I opened those up for my waiting list. So if you've been waiting for a reading and you want to jump in on Sunday the 14th or Monday the 15th, I have a few spots available still. You can go to my website, ihavethespirits.com, and email me, message me, and let me know. I can get you the time slots that are still available. Or you can go to my Facebook page, I Have the Spirits with Michael Edley, and message me on there, and we can get you set up with a private mediumship reading, private 1-hour reading. I have a couple spots left. Also, if you are if you're trying to get into the meditation zone, Divine Journey of a Mystic Soul on all streaming platforms, it's my meditation album. Mary Amy, I saw you were advertising your dream journal. So go on to Amazon and get Mary Amy's dream journal.
Right.
Or what is your children's book too? That
Earthly and the Gemstones.
Earthly and the
And
Gemstones.
it's Earthly goes on, leaves his home in the big tree with a pouch of gold coins, and he goes on a journey, and he receives gemstones representing different virtues: love, peace, nature, wisdom, spirituality, and vision.
That would make a great kid show. You need to
I
make
know.
a cartoon,
It would, an
a little
animated
series.
Who knows? You never know. It might happen. You never know. It might. No, there's a lot of positive things. Now, before we go, I just want to say, everyone out there, you all have intuitive abilities within you. So I suggest that you close your eyes, go into a quiet space, listen beyond the walls of the room, tune into your heart. Just allow impressions to be received. Symbols, images. Maybe you'll have a premonition dream. Write down your dreams when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a channeler or a medium like Michael. I'm getting spirits. I get spirits every night. They just don't talk to me. They just wave at me.
Yeah, you have to kind of let go and trust, and you can't overthink it. Allow that energy to just flow through you. And again, like Mary Amy said, journal it. It's really good to journal and pay attention to your dreams. Our loved ones will visit us when we're in a dreamlike state. If they're finding it hard for us to receive the signs and the synchronicities while we're in the waking state. So pay attention to your dreams. Get Mary Amy's dream journal. You can jot down what they're saying to you when you wake up, and you can kind of track that and see where the synchronicities and the signs are occurring.
Okay, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be back next Thursday at 7:30 live here.
Doing readings.
So everyone have a wonderful week. And I hope you're enjoying the holiday season. It was nice seeing you, Michael.
You too, Mary. I will talk to you soon. Take care, everyone. Thanks again for joining.